The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Brecheen. Brought to you by Medine's Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medine's. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Brecheen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lee Brecheen with the Sports Scouting Report. We have a great guest today. Our coach is, Thomas Bachman. I can't believe he's the head coach because I remember watching him play at Evangel Christian back in the day. You were the first slot receiver that I saw play back when slots were not even a name, right, Coach?
Yeah, no doubt. It's been a long time though. That's 20 years ago now. You know, it's crazy. It's hard to believe it's been that long.
I know, and I just want to kind of go back to history because you made that slot position, and then Trent Taylor comes behind you at Evangel Christian, and then your career at Evangel was phenomenal, and you played college football, and the job you've done at Alexandria High School, Ash High School, in such a short time is remarkable, Coach. I mean, playing runner-up in a state championship game, I know that you're still mission to win it all, and I think you will. But beat Zachary 2 years ago in the semis to go to a state championship game, which was hard to do at Zachary, which never happens. They never lose at Zachary High School. But want to go back.
Coach Bruce done an incredible job.
What a staff over there.
He is. He's incredible.
And Coach, they think highly of you too, because I talk to those guys.
It means a lot to me. You know, there's a lot of coaches across this state that are, you know, I have a lot of admiration and respect, and you watch from afar, and you just, you try and emulate and learn from some of the things they're doing. And Coach Bruce certainly doing it as well as anybody. And Coach Bruce been better to me than I deserve every time I've ever had a question or, called. And he just, he's super competitive, no doubt, but also does it with a lot of class and very appreciative of just the resource and the sounding board that a lot of these guys have been, very honored to be from this state and to be a coach in this state and a part of this fraternity that is Louisiana high school football coaches.
Yeah, I mean, you've really taken the Ash program to another level, and in the history there with Coach Stoker and all the players, I want to talk about the history. And I've been going to the game since '91, and just some names to throw out. I'm gonna try to go and log right before you, and then since you took the job, but Daryl Sargent was a great receiver in 15, went to UL, did a great job for the Cajuns. It's amazing. In 16, y'all had big 6'7" Matthew Beck, was a great baseball player at LSU. Could have been a football player, as you know.
Yeah, I love Matthew. Matthew was a senior our first year here, and Matthew's as good as I've been around. I mean, the intangibles with the talent, the leadership, that he just, provided, and the example that he was every single day. I mean, Matthew will forever be one of my favorites that I've ever been able to be around. Loved him, and only disappointment I have with that is that I didn't get to spend more time with him because he was a special one for sure.
Coach, he's one of those guys. You know how those basketball guys give up basketball to go football? He's one of those guys that I wish would get a free agent deal as a quarterback. Still,
me too. I really wish that we'd had an opportunity to spend a little bit more time with him because he was special, and he had an incredible senior year, and he's as good as anybody I've ever been around. I mean, I say that and people look at me like I'm crazy, but he's as good as I've ever been around. I mean, he was special in a lot of ways. I mean, just wish we had more time. I mean, I wish if he could find a way to reinvent himself, come back to high school, I certainly would love the opportunity to coach him for several years.
Well, baseball did a good job. I'm just saying it's hard to get to the major leagues, and he could spit at 6'7". Then you had Carlos Rubio, went to UL. Shield Taylor in 2021 went to Stanford. He's doing a good job. He said Shield's
Yep.
doing a good job, tight end.
Yep.
Great blocker.
Just had an ankle surgery. You know, I think he's missed a little bit of spring ball. He was in town. Got a chance to visit with him a little bit this last Friday. Yeah, Shield's a great one. I mean, we've been fortunate that we've had a lot of great ones through the years, and you know, Shield and his leadership, his work ethic, the example that he was, you know, the way he conducted himself in the hallway at school and in the classroom. I mean, just everything you want in a student athlete.
Jude Barton, your quarterback in 220.
Mm-hmm.
Great job. I mean, 220, class of 221, but Northwestern State, I believe, Coach.
Yeah. I think he's about to transfer to one of the Division II schools in Arkansas. I don't know what is final and all that stuff. And yeah, transcendent leader for us. You know, 3-year starter. You know, definitely one of the main reasons why we were able to have some of the success that we were able to have is you know, he and Shield and Cole Johnson, Dylan Dozar, Jermaine McNeil, you know, CJ Kittling. That group that year was a really good group, and the group in front of it was a great group too. That 2020 graduating class, but that 2019 group was.
I'm gonna go all the way to 2004, or actually 97. I've got, man, so many great players come out of the school, but we're going to take a break, Coach, come back. And I want to talk about that 220 senior group that you're talking about, Bud Clark, Jacobian Guillory.
Yep.
And then go all the way back to the old names, Adam Gatlin, Chris Brown,
yep.
You know, Craig Nall, Chris Bonial.
I know all those names. You know, all of them were long before we got here, but I certainly know those names. So, yep.
Mark Dotson, Jan Pierre in baseball, Nick Harris, Oklahoma, DJ Chark, but so many guys. We'll be right back with more with Coach Thomas Bachman from ASH, as they call it, in Alexandria High School. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Welcome back, Lee Brecheen, the Sports Scouting Report. We've got Thomas Bachman, head coach of Alexandria Ash High School. Really glad to have Coach on today, but we're going to the vault, man. We're going way back with the guys that played at Ash, going back to 97, Craig Nall, Northwestern State, LSU. It's almost quarterback you. I mean, Adam Gatlin was a great one at the school way back. DJ Chark in 14, LSU. Chris Bonial in 90. Wow, that was when I came out. They had 89, 90 kicker. Old guy, man. Juan Pierre, MLB, 95 grad. DeMar Dotson, the big 6'9" O-lineman, 2004 NFL.
And from what I understand about DeMar, and I don't know, I mean, that was obviously, you know, before we got here. I don't think he played high school football.
Basketball,
right? Played high school basketball, and then, you know, I've had a chance to meet him. He's a great guy, been good. He's put on some football camps for the youth here, you know, whenever he comes home for the summer, and just a great guy, great family. You know, been honored to you know, spend a little bit of time in what he's done, and but a great story, no doubt, right?
Oh man, 6'9" and what now? 340 offensive tackle from.
He's an impressive looking man.
Player,
you know, as you watch him, especially when he gets out there and starts exampling things like,
one of those guys you want to have come up again for you, a 6'9" guy.
No doubt.
Coaching, and Chris Brown, Oklahoma, was a great running back from Ash.
Nick Harris went to Oklahoma as well.
Great safety. And then getting to the current, Jacobian Guillory. You told me that the Jacobian's doing good at LSU, D tackle.
Yeah, he's doing well. I mean, every time we talk to him, you know, positive outlook, excited about the future. Just looks really good. I know that he looks like he's leaned up and just looks really good. Jacobian was always just so much fun to be around. He was a great communicator. You know, just brought a presence to the room, a good positive. Very intelligent. You could have, you know, an adult conversation with him because he got it. He could comprehend it. You know, love Jacobian, and he's great to Abram. I've got a third grader. He's constantly bringing him something, a towel or gloves, and just very thoughtful in the way that he does things. The fact that he comes home and all these things, and I grabbed Abram a towel from the bowl game or whatever. Just a very thoughtful, genuine, young man, and love him. I can't wait to see what he turns himself into, over the course of a lifetime.
I was wanting to tell a story back when you were playing Ouachita Christian, and he was a freshman, him and Bud. And I don't know, I caught your game by chance. I was in Monroe. I think it was a Thursday night. And
I can't remember, but very possible.
Anyway, y'all were playing in Monroe, and I was at the game, and when the game was over, I said, "Coach, who's that big D tackle?" And you said, "That's Jacoby, and he's a freshman." I said, "A freshman? 6'2", 290, a freshman run like that?" And I said, "What about Bud Clark?" He said, "Well, he's a freshman too." Who's obviously, we'll talk about at TCU, and then I went up to Jacoby, and after the game, after you had your meeting with the team, and like you said, he was like a 25-year-old kid as a freshman. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yeah, call my dad, love to talk to you. I mean, it was just, you knew then.
Yep.
I mean,
yep, impressive. He got it. He just got it. He understood it. And you could coach him and correct him, and he wanted that feedback. I think that's important. Where he wanted to be coached, and he wanted to be corrected. And just was always on. And then you mentioned Bud. Bud's another one that is for us in our time here, as you look at those guys that help you kind of transform, culture is an overused word, but it's not. I mean, it's when you're trying to transform and change hearts and minds. Bud was one of those guys that we look to. Obviously he was one of the most talented kids in our locker room, but just how competitive he was. It didn't matter whether we were running sprints or conditioning drills or competing in the weight room on the plane. Winning was important to him. So he helped us establish that competitive atmosphere where whatever it is that we're doing in this particular moment is important. It wasn't a switch that he turned in when the lights came on and everybody was in the stadium. He was just a competitive kid. I cannot remember, as I think back, him ever losing a conditioning drill or, all kids have those moments where it's like, I don't feel like I'm on today. I just want to kind of go through the motions. But when he felt like somebody else was challenging him in the weight room, when we get on the squat or the power clean, if you thought he was going to take the day off and you're going to try and, do more than him or move past him, that competitive switch would flip. And before you knew it, he was like, no. And just, a guy that I still point to him today is it's one thing to be, very talented. It's another thing to, be able to get away with just being talented. But when you got that guy that is competitive and has the work ethic and the drive with all that talent, the Bud Clarks are what you get.
And you said he's doing great at TCU, really doing
well, playing safety. He was home. They were on spring break, or I guess it was 2 weeks ago. He was home, got a chance to see him and spend a couple of minutes at lunch with him. And just, I love when they come back around. They're growing up and they're older, and, there's pick their brain. What are they doing? How's social life going? That's a big part of it too. Not only how's ball going, that's good, but how are you handling classroom? How are you handling your social life and all that stuff? And just begin to have different conversations with them as they get older. I enjoy. It's one of the great things about coaching and relationships with those guys is just watching them progress in life.
Coach, another kid, I don't want to leave him out, 218, son of Tulane, Jorian Vallon.
Jorian ended up at Southern, and I don't know, I don't necessarily keep up with the records of, who caught what balls and all that. I don't know them all. I mean, there's been a lot of great players before, we got here, but I would think that Jorian has to be up there with some of the tops in the history of Alexandria Senior High. I mean, just the 3 years that he had for us and matchup nightmare. I mean, we would force the ball to him because he was going to go get it a lot of times. Yeah, great player, special talent.
Look at the receivers that have come out of Ash, Coach, in the last 5 years. DJ Chark, Jorian Vallon, Daryl Sargent, Deron Johnson, we'll talk about next break, that just signed with Northwestern, and then Dalen Hammond, who played.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
you've had some
We've had a lot of good ones. You got Trey Colbert, who is a UL. Sway Taylor was a great one. You know, as I start to say some of these names, like, golly, I'm leaving somebody out. We've had a lot of great ones and been, you know, very fortunate. Of course, I didn't get a coach. You know, DJ had already graduated by the time, and Surgeon had already graduated by the time we got here. But yes, know of those guys, and you know, obviously what DJ's doing in the league, you know, gives us a lot of pride.
We're going to take a break, Coach. When we come back, I want to talk about your 222 guys. You still got a guy that's available, and I want to get the word out for you.
Okay, absolutely.
Great kicker, Abel Peterman. Come back, talk about
the
guys that signed, and then get to your current team. You've got some talent, young kids, and coming back next year. Well, this year, I keep saying next year. I can't believe we're in 220.
I know it flies, doesn't it?
Wow. But anyway, we'll be back with Coach Bachman from Alexandria Ash High School. We'll have more Coach Bachman. We'll be right back.
If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center, located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. You're watching the Sports Scouting Report. Lee Brecheen. We got Thomas Bachman with us from Ash High School, Alexandria High School in Alexandria, Louisiana. If you don't know where that is, it's man, you're going toward North Louisiana. Once you get into Bunkie and start traveling up, you know, you're going to get in around the Tioga and all those other areas, and then bam, you're going to hit Alexandria, the biggest school in the city. Great players. Coach Bachman, what I admire about you, before we get to your seniors this year that are graduating this year, was able to take in a scrimmage this past year. Now, obviously, I've been to some of your games, but the intensity that your staff and you bring, the professionalism, the how you're articulate, and everything is just organized, just really blew me away. Going to the Hanville scrimmage last year, and man, I was like, this is what you need to get kids' attention, because when the kids hit the field, there was popping going on. I mean, it was not, and obviously y'all were on them like all coaches, you know, trying to teach them what they did wrong, but the effort on these guys, the step in there, what do they call it? The step in there, whatever, it was a different level. Pep in your step. So, but it was a different level that I hadn't seen at school, you know, and it was impressive seeing those kids go out there and really compete, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and that comes from the staff. You said it. I mean, it's a staff. It's certainly not a me thing, you know. I mean, I love this. We're passionate about what we do. I think that bleeds down to the kids, and you know, what we say is very important. But the kids are watching. They're observing how we interact with each other, you know, on staff, and is there a genuine care and love for one another, or you know, I mean, I've just been very fortunate that I get to work with some of the best men that there are out there. There's nobody undermining, and you know, just a lot of the petty things that you hear, you know, that goes on in the world and on coaching staffs, and you know, egos get involved, and this person's undermining this person, and just all that. We've been very fortunate here that we have some of the best people that enjoy each other's company, and you know, that camaraderie, I think, bleeds down to our locker rooms, because our kids see that you know, this coach supports this coach, he cares for him. You know, there's a genuine relationship that goes beyond just the professional setting or the field house. So I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by these guys, and I do think that bleeds into the locker room, and then the level of energy and passion, and that it's important to us. You know, we hope it bleeds into the kids, and you know, it's always a work in progress. You never where you want to be, I don't think. You know, you're always trying to get that next inch or scratching claw to try and get that next step of where you're going. But it's a fun environment, and it's a very rewarding environment to get to show up to every day, where it is, you look forward to coming to work. You don't, I can't wait to when I wake up in the morning, I can't wait to get here and be around these coaches and be around these kids and begin to work together towards where it is we want to be at, in the future.
I'll tell you what, though, it was hot that day, and it was more impressive.
Yeah.
Coach, and we all deal with the sun with football, right? Practice every day, but man, it had to be 95, 94, 93 that day. And those kids, they just didn't bother them a bit. It was a great time to go there at Hahnville. And I think South Lafourche was there, Coach Edna Carr.
South Lafourche, Carr, Ruston, Jesuit. We were with Jesuit, that day. And those people make you better. You see the year that Jesuit just had, with Coach, and we could see it that spring, that foundation that he had laid through. It was a lot of fun to be a part of and play people like that.
Very similar to, you could see the pep in their step too at Jesuit.
Absolutely.
I want
done a great job.
You got a kid still available in the 222 class, and I'm a fan of him, and I know that you love him to death. Abel Peterman, your kicker, punted for you. Got a cannon leg, consistent, ice in his veins, kick sauce in the end zone.
Not afraid of the moment. Monster leg. I want to say he was like 51 to 60 something on touchbacks this year. He solved a lot of kickoff issues for us as far as knocking it through the back of the end zone. Very accurate, strong leg. He punted for us this last year. He's more of a kicker than a punter, but the ability to flip field position, with the strong leg that he has. Great kid, passionate about it. Every day, you walk up and look out there, who's out on the field? It was Abel out there kicking all summer or all season. Just a kid that loves it, and hate to see him graduate. Those guys that can kick the ball are weapons. I don't know if some people realize how valuable they are. You just don't replace an Abel easily.
3 positions, tough to replace.
Right.
And Coach, just so people know, 222, about to graduate from high school, still unsigned.
Still available right now, yes. Somebody just needs to open the door, give the kid an opportunity, and he'll do the rest.
Jamari Monette signed, you told me, late with Indiana. Man, that's a big pickup for them, I think.
Yeah, first time that I've ever, or that we at Ash or me ever, that we've had a kid go to Indiana. So kind of excited about that dynamic, get up there in that conference, and when they get a chance to come home over break or whatever, just a different thing that we're excited about. Mari's continued to grow since the season's been over. Walking through the weight room the other day, and was like, man, what are you up to? He's putting on weight, and going to continue to progress. Best ball's in front of him for sure. But excited that he's going to Indiana.
Like him a lot. Real tough kid for you, D lineman. Good size, 6'3", 270 something, depending on what he ate today. Coach,
He have no doubt.
Yeah, going to be a big kid. Moves well, gives you high effort. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Theron Johnson, your receiver that signed Jarvis Newton, where he's going. You're tough. I love you running back. McNeese is getting a great one. Jermaine Minor. We'll talk about John Goodwin. And we'll talk about your current team when we come back. We'll have more with Coach Bachman from Ash High School, Alexandria High School, but we'll be right back.
Be sure to take your car and truck for all your tire needs to Treads and Care Tire Company located in Central. The number to call is 331-8144. Family owned and operated since 1971. That's Treads and Care Tire Company.
Welcome back. I'm with Coach Thomas Bachman. Played at Evangel Christian, played college football, head coach at Ash and Alexandria. Coach, I just wanted to promote all these kids because if you're not from Alexandria, people's minds are just blown right now of all the players that have come out of the school. I just want,
it's a great area. Yeah, it's a great area.
There's talent in that.
There is talent, and if we can continue to lay a stronger foundation. That's the thing. It's not a lack of talent here. It's can we establish and continue to establish a football culture and lay a stronger foundation, in the youth league. We got to grow our youth organizations. We've got to, junior high and all that. If we can just keep more kids involved, and teach them the game at an earlier age. I mean, I think that there's a lot of potential where we can continue to grow here.
A lot of talent there. Peabody's got talent.
Mm-hmm.
Bunkie, Pineville, Menard,
Yeah.
Xavier Menard, a lot of talent. And Alexandria Tioga's done a great job with their program.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, your 222 guys, getting back to them, Tyrone Johnson, your receiver, going to Northwestern. They got a steal, Northwestern State. I think he's a steal for them.
Yeah, versatile. TJ's a very intelligent player, going to go in and learn and pick up. I do think he has the ability to play a couple of different spots and in the system that they run. I think he's, he can be that, the bigger slot, kind of the flex tight end. He's not an attached, but, doing some of the stuff that I'm not mistaken, they're a variation of the air raid now. I think Coach Laird hired an air raid guy. It's got a background. So, that's some of the foundation of some of the things that we do here. So he'll be familiar with some of the terminology and the communication. Obviously, there's going to be a lot different, but he's a very intelligent kid. So he'll pick that up in a hurry, can play inside and out. And, had some really special moments for us, over the course of his career here in multiple sports, football and basketball. I mean, he just had a lot of great moments for us through the years.
Does a good job of catching the ball over the shoulder in the end zone. I saw him snare one in that scrimmage. Tall, 6'4". Jarvis Newton, your running back. Jarvis was a heck of a player for you.
Had a great year, great couple of years. Yeah, Jarvis, been on the scene for 3 years, and so graduating him, I mean, somebody's got some big shoes to fill. I mean, the thing about Jarvis is Jarvis was usually when he got loose, it was points because he was fast, he was explosive, and going down to McNeese and excited. We've got Dylan Dozart who's down at McNeese. So reunite with him, a guy that can kind of hopefully pull him in and show him the ropes so that he can, accelerate that learning curve and give himself a chance to compete early in his career at McNeese.
I like this kid that only played 1 year for you as a starter, Jermaine Minor, tight end, H-back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Arkansas Tech got a steal in this kid, huh, Coach?
I agree. Big frame, long, versatile. I mean, he we just moved him to tight end, so he's just growing in the position. It's not something he's done all his life. So, as he gets more familiar with it and learns and is taught at the next level as they begin to teach him all the things that he'll learn. I mean, the ability to, really progress and grow as a player is there. And another one that, unfortunately is graduating.
Well, getting to we got one more segment. When we come back, I want to talk about you guys coming back, the guys that got to keep the leadership going for you.
That's right.
Keep the leadership to be able to get back to the championship games or deep in the playoffs. But we want to talk about those kids when we come back. You got some young ones, you got some guys that have played, you got some new guys that are seniors.
It's a good mixture.
A little mix. We're going to talk about them when we come back with Coach Thomas Bachman. And I keep wanting to say Evangel Christian, but it's Ash, head coach. I remember this guy running a 4.4 one day.
Yeah, a long time ago. I don't know, but I probably needed somebody timing that was going to be generous to me to get that time. But
hey, and believe me, I tell you, this guy could run. He was the fastest in the state his senior year. We'll be right back.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life.
Welcome back. Lee Brecheen, your host. Thomas Bachman, the head coach at ASH, as they call it, in Alexandria High School in Alexandria, Louisiana. Coach does a phenomenal job. Lost a lot of talent. We went through all the players he lost, which coach is probably going, oh man, Coach Lee,
no
you're
doubt.
reminding me. You're reminding
Yeah.
me.
It's hard to see them go. When you lose that group of seniors, it's hard to see them grow to go, especially after you see all the growth and
Yeah.
All right, now they comprehend everything and then out the door. So we got to get the next group ready to go.
You got a quarterback to build around who's got experience, Joe Bordelon.
Joe Bordelon, yeah,
very good size, and I saw him in that scrimmage. That was one of his first really starts that I think he had for you. And I saw a lot of toughness, a guy trying to learn it, and I know he's come a long way playing all of last year. And how is it to have a quarterback come back as a starter for you? How important is that?
Well, it gives us an opportunity to build on where we left off. So the foundation and the grasp of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it, and then the playing experience of being the guy out there having to run the show is experience is experience, and till you have it, you don't have it. So he's been out there, he's been in the big ball games. I mean, he's been in the big road games, and in our district, and knowing that it's going to come down to a couple of plays here and there, and you look back and it's like, all right, we missed this play, this play, this play. If we can flip these things and make more plays count for us, then, we're going to give ourselves a chance. So all those things, just the experience that he was able to get, it's really nice to have a returning quarterback, because a lot of the game and a lot of systems, I mean, it's a quarterback driven game, and there's a lot on their shoulders with the decisions that they're out there making. So we feel comfortable with Joe and are excited about, taking the next step with him leading our team.
I want to mention a kid that you have another big time DB. I mean, you had Bud Clark. You've had some great players at receiver your short time at the school, but I love this kid. And I talked to you the other day, and I know you love him, and he's got a chance to be a special player as a senior. He's kind of under the radar right now nationally. Won't be for long. Josh Marie, your DB, big kid, 6'1", 192.
Has the frame, has the length, the work ethic, out there running track right now, doing well, and, kind of look forward to spring and people getting out on the road and coming through. I mean, he's going to pass the eye test, and, just to see him move around and get him to camp this summer and just get him in front of people. I think that he'll do the rest if we can, just get him in front of the right people. I think that the offers will begin to come for him, and doors will get opened. And then, we just got to get him in front of the right people.
And you've got some other guys that if they step up, like you said, they look the part and have a chance to be special players, like Chris Clark, Bud's brother. He's got the frame.
Cousin, younger cousin. I mean, he's Chris Clark, John Parrish, Josh Marie, Tay Frazier. A lot of these guys are returning starters in the defensive secondary. We return some experience there in the back half. It's talking defense. Jeremiah Jeffers Wright is a kid that's played for us 2 years. Will only be a junior, but he played significantly there his freshman year. In the championship game through the playoffs. I mean, he saw snaps. Wyatt Dozart, another one that's been playing for us for a long time. So, there's some spots where we're replacing them. We graduated seniors, and it's new faces, but there is enough experience to where they can lead the group, returning on defense.
Yeah, just want to mention Jalen Johnson. JT Lindsey's going to be a new running back for you.
Jalen has now moved Jalen over to receiver. Jalen will be a junior. Tons of potential.
Mingo's got a chance.
String link and Mingo, good mixture. I mean, we've got some seniors, but the majority of the offense will probably be sophomores and juniors next year.
Coach, I want to mention an under the radar H-back. I got to give those fullbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And because they do it all for you, blocking. James Harrington's a senior that's got a chance to maybe be a small
absolutely
guy. He's a
absolutely. And for us and the things that we do offensively, they might not show up in the in the box score or whatever, the stat sheet the next morning. But, for those who are really watching football and paying attention, the value that they bring and the things that they allow you to do. And, James does all that for us. And so, he's another one that has a lot of experience and has played in some big ball games. So he'll be back this year. And he not necessarily tall. I want to say he's about 217 right now. And, playing that tight end, H-back, fullback spot for us, it is a very important role in our offense.
Coach, before we go, I want to ask you about what your dad's meant to you, John, being he was a head coach at Evangel Christian during the era you were in school, coached you, and also coached at Red River and many places, done a phenomenal job. What has he meant to you growing up that your dad was a really good coach?
And I think my brothers would say the same thing as we talk about this. I've got a younger brother who's the head coach at Longview Pine Tree in Longview, Texas. And then my older brother is the head coach at Cornerstone Christian in San Antonio, Texas. So, I mean, we're a coaching family, and it's what we saw all our lives. And, to go and be the little boy running around locker room and hearing dad and the messaging to the team and the things that he said were the things that he really believed. And just the example, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to just, the older I get, to sit back and watch, try to live it. His players were really important to him and who they become as men. And, a lot of the cliche that a lot of us as coaches say of, we're doing this and it's bigger than football. And I do believe that's the case. I don't mean to say cliche, but just to sit back and watch how important that was to dad. And, all these years later, all the people that he coached and, what they're doing with their lives, how they're, leading their families or the businesses, the amount of pride that he gets in who they become as men, I think mean more to him than any championship or ball game we won. Although those things are important to him, what people have turned into and how they've taken the messaging and the things that the coaches try and pour into kids that are in our program, the rewarding, just to see the amount of satisfaction and reward he gets out of, trying to pour into young people. And now these people are living some of it and so I just, the way that he cared and then the example that he was of, this is not always a easy thing to do. I mean, it can be very difficult and all the negativity that can surround it, when people got their opinions of what you should be doing and the decisions that you make. And, there are some trying times for everybody that's listening to this, that's a coach in their community. And just to watch him walk through those times when it's difficult, and how to stay the course and try not to change who you are as a man and continue to live by, the values that are important to you in those troubling and difficult and times where everybody is second guessing you, or just all the things that everybody experiences. I got to see it firsthand. I got to see, in the field house. I also got to see when we got home that the consistency of who he was didn't change based on the circumstances that he was dealing with that particular day or that particular year, whatever it was. And there's been no better example professionally and personally for what we're doing, and myself and my brothers and my younger sister, just the example that we lived with every single day. And I'll never be able to put a value on that.
Well put, man. It's you saw the ups and downs, and see how to handle it. Now that you're doing it. And look, before we go, you reminded me, and I'm glad you did, Coach. But when you were at Evangel, Jonathan Wade and you were the fastest players in the state your senior year.
Well, he was for sure. He was. I give the kids a hard time. Our kids can tell you that I still talk about Jonathan, and he's still the state record holder in 5A for the 100 and 200 at the track meet, if I'm not mistaken. And then he won the Junior Olympics. So when you said fastest player, it's like, I appreciate it, but I know firsthand who the fastest kid in the state, in the country, in the world at that time was Jonathan.
But as a group, y'all were incredible. And then,
It was a fun group.
Do you remember his 100-meter time by chance? Do you remember what
10-2-1. He ran 10-2-1 at the state meet. I think he went 20.69 in the 200. I think they're still the 5A records. Yeah,
that'll get you an Olympic trial.
Yeah,
I think he did.
He ran in the Junior Olympics and won. Went and played football at Tennessee, and I think he played 6 or I know he played 6. I'm not sure how many years beyond that, but played in the NFL for a long time, and not sure what Jonathan. I hadn't talked to Jonathan forever, but I'll forever remember a lot of those guys. I mean, a lot of those high school teammates, those relationships. Everybody gets old and got their family taking them in so many different directions. But, being a part of a team and the things that you shared and the bond that you had, that lasts a lifetime. So when you get back together, a lot of times you pick up where you left off all those years. There's that genuine relationship. And I know for me, I just got a lot of respect for those guys, and try and tell these kids that people are going to remember how you acted as a 17 and 18-year-old. And I still know the guys that I have a whole lot of respect for, that I was in a locker room with, for the character and the integrity that they lived their lives with. As a teenager, I still admire it as grown and old and all this stuff, and trying to. I mean, Kenneth Brantley went to Bowling Green as a kid that sticks out to me, and the example that he was. So yeah, I could talk about those guys for a long time.
Tell you what, I just want to say this for Evangel, your old high school. There wasn't a high school in the country in a 10-year span that had more receivers do well, more or better than that group. Starting with Abram Booty, Trent Taylor, Geiger.
It was
Wade. I mean, it was just incredible.
It was a special time, a lot of special people, Coach Dunn, Coach Denny, Coach Tilley, as far as the offensive guy. I mean, just so many. I mean, you start saying names, it's like, man,
Alexander,
so many dynamic people. It was just a lot of incredible people, that I learned a lot from, and use the things that I learned from them now today, and the job that I have and the kids that I'm leading. And it really was. And I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions on Evangel, and hey, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm forever grateful for the things that were poured into me by those people. It was a special time for me, and it truly was a life-changing experience. And I'll forever be grateful and appreciative to those men and women and the people in leadership for the example that they were.
And I got to mention this. One guy that was one of the best stories of all time was an O-lineman that switched to running back at your old high school.
He wasn't bad, was he?
Jacob Hester, that sucker.
Yep.
Man.
And then you say now, I mean, Jacob was 2 years behind me, and obviously what Jacob did at LSU, and what he did in the league, and what Jacob's doing now. And Jacob, Jacob is having success. I mean, I see him all over, the news, or the things that he's got going. Just defensive lineman, and hey, let's go play running back, and the rest is history, right?
Thomas, remember the game that was soaking wet, 3 inches of rain at Evangel? Y'all were playing Ruston or Dallas Carter one night. I mean, it was bad rain. It was muddy, and it was one of Hester's first starts. And I was on the sideline. I mean, it was hurricane. I don't even know if we'd play him today. And he had 250 yards at halftime rushing. And I mean, and I was like, wow, who's this guy? And they said, we was an O-lineman the year before.
Yeah. He was special. There's no doubt. He was special. And, you say that Jacob had several performances like that, several games. So it's hard to pinpoint, like, all right, which it could be this one. It could be, he just had a great career.
Coach, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a phenomenal job. And, Coach Stoker started it way in the day, and the late Coach Stoker, and now you have brought it back to where it was early in his career. And I know that Ash is the talk of the state the last 2 or 3 years, in North Louisiana. And like I said, I just wanted people to see the talent that comes out of the area. It's a great school, a lot of great schools in the area, and keep doing what you're doing. I mean, whatever recipe y'all have, it's working. I mean, y'all doing a great job. So,
Well, that means a lot to me. I appreciate that. I think that some of the things that you said is what you want. Obviously we all want to win them all, but that's just, we won't teach them how to compete. And, when we put a ball down, we want somebody to have to prepare and know that they're going to get our best shot and then we're going to be in the ball game. It's not one that you can just take a night off and, we want more of them to go our way than don't. But, teaching young people to create a expectation for themselves and then, go compete regardless of circumstance. And I do think that's something that our kids have grabbed a hold of and something that we're really proud of and hope to build on as we move forward.
Thank you, Coach. Don't go anywhere. We're going to end the show. I'm new at social media. I just got Twitter. I think you said you don't even do Twitter, but I only got it
I'm not the best with social media. I mean, look, there's too much out there. There's a lot of great vibe, but boy, some of that negativity that can swirl. Like, why live in that world? I'm not.
I have my Twitter to promote these shows and our magazine.
That's right.
So follow me at Lee Brecheen or follow our YouTube page. You can catch the show on YouTube or Podbean or wherever you get your podcast. If you're not a podcast guy, call us. Me and Jace, call Jace. I don't know how to even do it, but go to Podbean. Go to Podbean if you're savvy with podcasts. Go to YouTube. Our website lafootballmagazine.com. Or if you want to just talk football, I'm probably going to message you back privately. Because I'm like, Bachman, I'm not going to publicly put my messages out there, but you can Twitter me at Lee Brecheen or just email me from the website or Jace Lejeune. Coach, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'm honored. Thanks for having me on.
We'll see you next week, guys.
Gage has served Louisiana for over 40 years. Let Gage create a custom tailored solution for your business and become your partner in technology. Give them a call today at 225-753-4243 and help your business get better connected with Gage.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.